Well, the St. Louis Cardinals just dropped a series on the road in Texas. Didn't really show up today on Sunday, unfortunately. But hey, it is June 1st. We want to do a little bit of a vibe check about the St. Louis Cardinals. Still feeling optimistic, still excited about the trajectory of this club in 2025, or has a little bit of a slowdownness of the last few weeks, maybe tempered some expectations or caused some concern for people. Sandy and I are going to talk about our thoughts on the Cardinals in this series, zoom out a little bit and do a vibes check for the season. And I know Sandy's got to take about interleague play on this episode of Deal on the Cards. Welcome back into Deal on the Cards. We're presented by 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. We'll tell you more about them here soon. My name's Josh. This is Sandy, St. Louis Cardinals podcast. We go live twice a week here on the YouTube channel with Birds on the Farm as well, which that should be ramping up again here soon with some draft preview such. We just had our interview with Cardinals assistant general manager Rob Serfolio this week. You can go check that out on our YouTube channel. We also have our Q&A episodes that happen once a week. Sandy handled this weekend's one. It was a good set of questions, so make sure you go check that out. Like and subscribe helps channel a ton. Did all those plugs on the front end. I'll try to make sure we do them throughout. But Sandy, Cardinals kind of got curb stomped on Sunday.
And Friday.
Yeah, Friday wasn't great either, but I guess so. The Cardinals right now, I'm going to reveal some of my cards right off the top, and we can get into it. I'm interested to see. I think June is going to be more pessimistic for fans than May was, even if they are still in contention doing well, because the Cardinals are winning 70% of their games. They went 19-8. They won 70% of their games for a stretch. That is not sustainable. No team wins 70% of their games. So we all knew they were coming back down to earth a little bit. And so I think what's going to happen with that is they won like 9 out of 10 series. And so now when they drop 2 of 4, like if they win 2, lose 2 series, I think people are like, the Cardinals falling apart. Are they trending down, spiraling? And they could be like, it could be the start of something. But I'm not going to sit here and look at this Texas series and be like, they lost on the road to the Texas Rangers. They dropped a series and throw my hands up in the air that we were wrong to believe in this team, because as of right now, this Cardinals team is still performing at a high level. It still holds a wild card spot, and their schedule is about to get a little bit easier running up too. They've got some tough series in June, but they've also got a little bit of, compared to May, it's better schedule coming up. And you look at some of their division, specifically at the Cubs, they've got a pretty tough schedule in May or in June. I don't know if I believe this Cardinals team is going to win 90 plus games like they've been on pace to at the end of May, but I still think this is a lot better of a team than we thought going into the year. Obviously, the offense has been slower the past week or so, but guess what? If you watch a team for 162 games, you're going to notice slumps because every offense goes through it. So I'm not concerned about that yet. Give me more of a sample size. It's like the beginning of the year where I kept saying, hey, I want to believe in this team, but give me more of a sample size. Give me more of a sample size. Show me more. And they showed me more, and I was like, I'm ready to buy in. I'm not going to flip the script for 1 week of 6-4 baseball over the last 10 games. We're not talking about some bad stretch here. What are your thoughts, Sandy?
Well, I mean, I say get this team home. You know, they've had a couple of really bad road trips so far this year, and this is not one of them. They won the series in Baltimore against what a lot of people thought coming into the year was a very good Baltimore team.
Yep.
Granted, they lost that game to Charlie Morton, but Cade Povich has had a nice season. They beat him. The Cardinals, I don't know. It's road trips, whatever. I mean, they got stomped by Texas twice. But look, if you're going to get outscored by 15 runs, right? Well, the Rangers put up 19. The Cardinals put up 4 runs this whole series. If you're going to get scored by 15, going 1-2 is not too shabby. Good sequencing there from the Cardinals to shut them out the other day. But it wasn't the end of the world, you know. Again, they had a bad road trip. They had 2 bad road trips in April. They got swept by Boston and then turned around and lost the series at Pittsburgh to go 1-5. Then they came home, had a nice stretch against Houston and Philadelphia, and then immediately got curb stomped by New York. They lost all 4 of those games, 2 of which they probably could have won. Then turned around and lost another series to the Braves, blowing one of those games in spectacular fashion. You didn't see any of that happen in this series, or in this whole road trip, actually. Like, it was fine. You know, they went 3-3. They're about to come home where they'll play 9 consecutive games against really good teams, but we've already seen them beat the Royals on the road. I know they can beat Toronto. And I think the Cardinals are perfectly capable of competing with a depleted Dodgers team. So let's see what it looks like. They've done a great job defending Busch. I mean, besides the Detroit series and the Anaheim series, I don't know if they've lost a series at home outside of those 2. So, I mean, by and large, it's been excellent. Let's just see how they look coming into this. I mean, yeah, if they have a bad homestand here and then they have to go to Milwaukee, who's been hot, and if Milwaukee's still hot, then maybe I get a little worried. But
Yeah.
also, yeah, like you said, the schedule was super tough. I mean, the Cardinals, yikes. Like this year, I would say they've played one of the tougher schedules in the National League, if not like close to the toughest. They've already played all 6 of their games against Philadelphia. They've already played all 7 of their games against New York. Those are 2 really good teams.
Haven't played any of their 6 games against the Rockies yet. But you have the Cubs who played them twice already.
Or the Marlins. Yeah, we haven't gotten the Marlins either. None of their true bottom feeders. And we had Pittsburgh on the road. So, haven't had any like a ton of gimme series at home. So yeah, just get them home. Let's see what it looks like when they come back. And I'm not worried yet.
Yeah. Now I do think, like, as we're saying that, I don't think either of us have thought this is a perfect club going into this year. And so we definitely didn't think going into the year. And even as of late, been like, I mean, when I'm optimistic about this offense, I'm saying it's producing like a top 10 unit. That means there's room to grow. And I also think there's some things about it where it's like, okay, like there's going to be slumps or times where they perform like a middle of the pack offense. And it's like, what do you over the course of the year? What's your mean? What is your average? I think their average could be a top 10 lineup, but there's like right now they're trending toward the bottom of the top 10 in most categories, or just outside the top 10 now in some like slug, OPS, like 11th in OPS, I think like 14th in slug right now. Still top 10 in runs scored, 4th in doubles, like 5th in average in OBP. Good signs there. But like the slug is kind of like the lack of home runs specifically, something we've talked about. This could hold the team back at times. And when you're not producing, when you're not getting the hit parades that you've been all season, then the home runs do matter more in a series like this. And hey, if a couple of those hits they had instead are going over the fence, maybe it changes one of these games. And they obviously didn't. And so here's where we're at with them. We've talked about how Fetty's been like the numbers on the field have been better than what we think he is. And so it's like, well, if that proves to be true, then over time they're going to start getting less and less quality starts from him, or not necessarily, I mean, the actual stat of quality start, but I'm saying like less quality out of him. Same with Miles Michaelis, right? Like Liberatore has been awesome, but I, again, would have still, even last couple weeks ago, I would have been surprised if he had a sub-3 ERA on the year. Like, it's okay that it's a little bit of regression there. Like, bullpen again, like Kyle Leahy had a sub-2 ERA. It's like I would love for that to continue, but if it's in the 2.3s, 2.4s, 2.5s, I'm still ecstatic. There's things like that where it's even some slight regressions. Well, you're going to play more like a winning 55% of your games, and guess what? That's a really good pace. If you win 55% of your games out of a 162 game season, what is that, like a high 80s?
Yeah, it's very close to the playoffs, if not
89 wins. So like, again, the Cardinals were on a 70% win pace for like the last like 20 straight games, which is 113 win pace. That wasn't going to sustain. So they're working things to come back down to earth. That's kind of where I'm at the club right now. But I do think since we're doing the vibes check, I would say the one thing that I'm watching out for this month, keeping my thumb on, and think could be like, I'm not predicting the Cardinals are going to fall off, but could be a part of the reason that they do fall off, I guess, is the lack of the home run production. I do think at some point this starts to matter. I think the fact that they're a top 4 team in baseball in doubles helps cover up for some of that. And at the end of the day, I think it's great. But at the same time, like when Wilson Contreras isn't hitting the ball over the fence as much as he was, and Ivan Herrera slowed down a little bit power-wise, Alec Burleson started off May with like 4 bombs, and I don't remember last time he hit a home run. Maybe it was last week or something. Again, Gorman's not playing every day, and when he does, he's not hitting for power. Jordan Walker's hurt, but he wasn't hitting for power. Like, where's the power come from? And collectively, you're going to have a lot of guys that could hit between 17 and 24-ish, but you don't really have that true bat. I think that can come back to bite them at times, especially when it's a stretch where no one's hitting home runs. It makes it hard to win in today's game. So if there's one thing about the offense, I mean, as the team, but I look at the offense like, okay, like they could start sputtering a little bit more if they're not getting those huge big time home runs to get you 3 runs on the board at once, one swing of the bat. Instead, they're having to hit 5, 6, 7 hits in an inning to get those runs. That's a hard way to win baseball. Is there something that you're particularly looking at right now when we're doing this vibes check where it's like, it seems like you and I agree, feeling good about the team, not a lot of concerns, but if there is something to look at, it's like, okay, what's that thing?
Yeah, I mean, the power production is definitely a concern. And again, I think I mentioned this before, but because the Cardinals don't hit any triples, their doubles numbers are inflated. I mean, they're dead last in the league in triples, and they're, 10 to 15 behind some of the teams in the top 10. And some of those teams are well below them on the doubles leaderboard. But when you factor that in, they've got the same number of 2 and 3 base hits put together. And the Cardinals have far fewer home runs. So I think it's actually even a little more dire than just, the home run shortage paints. So I think that's an issue. You're absolutely right. It is hard.
I mean, is it a huge issue though? Because so the Cardinals have 109 doubles on the year and 4 triples, but like the triples leader right now is 15 from the Rockies.
How many doubles
12,
do the Rockies have, though?
86. But like the Cubs with their top 3 offensive baseball have 113 doubles and 14 triples. Yeah. Like the Mets have 99 doubles and 13 triples. I'm looking at some of the doubles. Like,
when you put those numbers together, it's greater than the Cardinals.
The Blue Jays are 100 plus doubles and they only have 2 triples. The Reds only have 7 triples, 100. So I think you're right, but I don't think it's like we're talking about 20 extra base hit difference here. We're talking about like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's like 10 plus though. The Cardinals only have 2, right? Or 4? They have 4.
They have 4, which is 11 behind the Rockies in first. But like you're talking about to be top 5, they need 8 more. To be top 10, they need 6 more. Not even to top 10, they don't even need 6 more. They need 5 more. So I agree, it's a little bit, but I want to overstate that though.
Yeah.
But the home runs, like they're what are they 25th in baseball? Probably. Yeah, the 25th in baseball. So that's the thing.
You have to slug, right? I mean, yeah, it's tough. And today, like there was an inning that DeGrom faced, and also I feel like the Cardinals. Maybe it's just me. I feel like we've been caught stealing a lot. Is that just a me thing, or do you notice that?
See.
I don't know. Like it. But I mean, today DeGrom had a.
They're 17th in baseball in cost stealing, so not terrible.
Yeah,
but how much? They just don't have guys that are fast.
Yeah,
like they're a good base running team.
Yeah, they don't make mistakes. They don't often run into outs. The Cardinals do a lot of little things right, which is nice to watch.
Yeah. Which is like, if you have a team like this, I don't want Lars Nootbaar trying to steal second all the time when he's going to get thrown out quite a bit because I
didn't like the decision today. I wanted to talk about that. I mean, Jacob deGrom had an inning today where Lars Nootbaar led off with a single into right field, and then Lars Nootbaar was immediately caught stealing second, and then the following hitter like poked a single into right field that if Lars hadn't run would have put him on third, and then immediately thereafter, Donovan grounded into a double play, and that was the inning. And I mean, even if Donovan grounds into that double play, if you've got runners on the corners, Lars scores and it's 2-2 instead of 2-1 heading into the 6th or 7th. And that game came off the rails late, but that was a close game for the first 8 innings. Yeah. So I'm not going to freak out about it.
Let me throw one thing real quick because I don't want people to take out of context. They don't have fast guys. And they do have fast guys, but they have 2 fast guys, Victor Scott and Mason Wynn. And Mason Wynn doesn't really steal bases either. So like I'm just saying, like when most of your team aren't base stealing threats, you're not going to be a good base stealing team, even with Victor Scott. When you look at the stolen base leaders, it's the Rays, it's the Brewers, it's the Cubs, it's the Pirates, it's the Phillies, it's the Reds. They have multiple guys that are like legit stolen base threats. The Cardinals have one that's an incredible stolen base threat, one that I think should be better than he is in Mason Wynn, but just hasn't proven out to be. And then it's like, Donnie and Newt can steal you a few here and there, Walker, but like they're not going to be 20 plus steal guys. They're like 10. So anyways, but yeah, I agree. I like the Newt stealing second base there. Like if he stole it, we'd all praise him and be like, "Oh, Newt, great base running."
Yeah,
and then he's thrown out, we get mad about it. And so So my point to that is though, if they have a tell and it doesn't work out, that's one thing. If he's getting overly aggressive and just like, "Oh, I think I can get this," and doesn't get it, it's like, know your play style, know your limitations. They think they had some kind of tell on DeGrom. I get it. Yeah, it was a great throw too. But in general, I'm saying like, I don't want the Cardinals to start running wild because we want them to steal more bases. You need the personnel for it. Newt's, I think, an interesting guy where it's like sometimes like early in the year, I praised him for his aggressiveness because he kept throwing pitchers off. And I think he drew a balk and then stole 2 bases on pitchers where they stepped off the mound because they didn't realize he'd already gone and gotten second off it. It's like, okay, you have a tell on a guy, but Newt shouldn't be trying like Victor Scott to go at bases.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I don't know. This is probably going to be a frustrating thing, but like the Cardinals are they're not the most exciting team in the league. I mean, I think we know that they don't hit for a ton of power. They have one super fast player that's a great, steal threat, but the Cardinals our power hitters are not fast, right? You're talking about a Contreras, a Herrera. You're not thinking about these guys having some crazy power speed combo where they could go 30-30 or 40-40. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little bit more boring in that sense. But they do a lot of the little things right. So I don't know. I mean, I feel good about them moving forward. I feel like their success is sustainable. They do a lot of little things really, really well. They're well coached. I don't think they make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I don't know. I do wish they stole more bases. I do wish they hit more home runs, but that's not who they are as a team necessarily. Although they do need to hit for more power. It's a serious issue.
This is more a philosophical thing, and so I think we can agree to disagree on it. But I would actually say I love watching this Cardinals team. I would much rather watch. I actually think it's exciting brand of baseball when you're hitting doubles. So. Clean, great defense, clean base running, taking the extra base, hit parades. You don't it's not like, oh, we need Juan Soto to come up to drive in the runs. It's like the whole lineup can do it. I actually think it's one of the most fun types of teams to watch. But in today's game, the most effective way to win is to hit the long ball, draw the walk, 3 true outcome stuff, strike out, which again, on the pitching side, it's like that's the Cardinals pitching sometimes can be boring to watch because they're the ground ball specialists.
I mean, I prefer the ground ball specialists too. I like to see the ball in play.
So I like that too, but you also have to have more than league bottom of the league swing and miss. That's more of what I mean. Is they just from the rotation. It's man, you got Fetty and Michaelis, who do not miss bats. Palante really doesn't miss bats either. Gray does, but not as much as he did last year. And Libby does, but he's not elite at it. So I'm not dissing on ground ball guys. It's just not as exciting to watch as if you were tuning into it. Well, I mean, DeGrom doesn't strike out as many guys as he used to, but DeGrom star, Hunter Green or stuff like that.
No, I agree. Yeah, No, I totally agree. I mean, the Cardinals, I'm not saying I think they're boring. I'm just saying in terms of national coverage, you're not going to see the Cardinals pinned on MLB's Twitter account. It just doesn't happen. They don't do those things. They do a lot of really good things really well. And to me, the ideal Cardinals win this year is a 6-3, 7-2 victory where it's a big hit parade. They score 3 or 4 in one inning. They draw 5 or 6 walks across the game, and the pitching's great. And your starter goes 7 innings and gives up 2 runs. And we've seen a lot of that this year. That's been what you and I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't have guys having multi-homer games. I mean, Ivan Herrera had that 3-homer game early in the season. Has any other Cardinal had a multi-homer game this whole year?
Oh man, I feel like I don't think anyone did. I was thinking maybe one guy did, but
that's actually crazy that nobody else has had a multi-homer game. Contreras hasn't. I mean, the Cardinals haven't had that. They've had big bats, but when's the last time a Cardinal hit 40 home runs? And part of it's playing at Busch Stadium, but I mean, do you have to go back to Albert Pujols?
Oh, for someone to hit multiple home runs in a game? I don't
think 40 homers in a season.
Oh, 40. Sorry, I was thinking. I was also I'm talking about something I saw. No, I was looking. There's some news I want to share with you that's really interesting. But I think it's got to be Pujols because Holiday definitely didn't do it. Carp.
I know Goldie won an MVP
one time.
He got into the 30s. Brandon Moss
Goldie was 34. But real quick though, just really interesting. Corbin Burns just got pulled from his start and looks like he's got a significant elbow injury.
That is terrible for a Diamondbacks team that's in free fall.
The John Boy Media did one of those lip readings, and it looks like he said to the trainer, "Elbow is done, it's dead." So that's yikes. Corbin Burns was already that's part of the reason he wasn't getting the interest people thought he would this whole season. Is people have been concerned about his injuries for a while. So sucks for I hate that. I never want injuries for anyone.
You never want to see a big injury. Yeah.
But again, when you're talking, so aside from that, never would root for that. You're looking at a really tough NL Central or NL wild card race. That's a huge blow to the Diamondbacks. So keep an eye on that for a Cardinal team.
It's already been really bad.
Yeah. So anyways, just want to throw that out there. But high home run total since Pujols is Marp with 36 in 2018.
I mean, that's
got to be the salsa.
I would wager almost every other team has had somebody hit more home runs than that since.
36 is a lot, dude.
Almost every team. I would wager you could find someone on most teams.
I don't know how many people hit 40 in a year.
Maybe the Rays haven't had a guy do that, but
I'm gonna do some anecdotal research and keep through. But I just don't feel like 40 is a big number.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. Santander just did it for the Orioles. Obviously, Judge, Stanton have
So
both done it. For the
4 guys in
Yankees.
baseball did it last year.
Sure, yeah. I'm saying more than 36 even. More than 36. Like, the Cardinals have not had a
Okay.
true power bat in a long time.
Okay, that I don't disagree with, but I'm saying 40 specifically is kind of like
It's a
right.
big
Like,
number. It's a big number. But
like it was like when Gorham was starting to hit home runs, everyone's like, well, he could be a 40 home run bat. It's like, okay, yes, but also like don't put that pressure on him because like
yeah,
3
that's a
guys hit 40
huge
home
number.
runs every year. But I agree. In principle, yes. The like even Nato and Goldie when they're here in the prime were low 30s, if they even got there. Lots of doubles, great bats.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different kind of power. And it's why like I feel like the Cardinals have really wanted the Gorman thing to work out. It's like, man, like he's the one guy organization you can look at right now. Ivan Herrera, even with the amount of excitement I have about him, probably isn't a 30-plus home run bat. He's probably more the high average, 20-plus home runs, 30-plus doubles type bat, which is, or more than that, maybe doubles-wise, which is awesome. But having someone that can clear the bases with a big bomb, really important to have in this league, and the Cardinals just don't really have a guy who consistently does that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
So, okay, so I do want, we've got a lot of things we can talk about with this Cardinals team right now, but let's take a couple of sponsors of our podcast real quick. And then I do want you to do your take, because I think it's a really interesting one. I bet people are all over the board in terms of how they feel about this.
When I say it, it's for some reason overly controversial, but I think
you're onto something. I would amend your idea in my opinion, but I think you're onto something with how it's affected today's game. But first, I want to thank 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're located at 9640 Olive Boulevard and all of that. Open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards. They have the new selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. You got to go check them out. Make sure they know we sent you. If you go over there, send us DMs on Instagram or Twitter, Instagram, whatever, whenever you pick up cards from their shop. We love seeing what you guys pull. We love 314. They're awesome to work with. I'm hoping to get down there this weekend when I'm there for the Dodgers series. We'll see if that works out. But 314 is awesome. You guys should check them out. We know many of you at the shop there already. I also want to let you know about one of our other sponsors, and that is Underdog Sports. The Deal on the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries. Make sure you use that promo code on the screen now, CARDS, and you can get a first free pick'em. So yeah, make any pick you want, and you can get your money back if you get it wrong, and a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Real quick before we go to your point, I think this is an interesting thing. My dad threw in the chat, but I also think like in general, it's something people talk about with this team, and it's the idea that like Busch Stadium's hard to hit home runs in, always has been, and some of that might be the way why the Cardinals target certain kind of offensive profiles they do. But then you look, I mean, again, I've only looked at this year. It'd be interesting to go back and look at other years. I'm looking just this year, home run splits in road games. Cardinals are 20th in baseball. So slightly better than at home, it looks like. I should check that number specifically.
Still not good, though.
It's still not good. And so at the very least, what that speaks to is they're 24th at home. They don't hit more home runs. They don't really do much better home run power on the road than they do at home. I guess the big picture, does that do yourself a disservice when you're trying to optimize your offense to your ballpark? But in today's game, in most ballparks, you need the ability to hit the ball over the fence. And I don't know what you do about that, because it's Busch Stadium. It's not like, I mean, you could build a new stadium. I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. But I think it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. They're not leaving Busch forever. It's a beautiful ballpark. I think it's a top 5 park in the league. But yeah, you got to be able to hit home runs on the road. If you can't at home, the problem is you play, especially within your own division, you've got Chicago, and if you play them at Busch, you're going to have trouble keeping the ball in the park. They hit a lot of homers. And if you play them on the road, you're absolutely going to have a hard time keeping it in the ballpark. You've got to be able to hit home runs there. You've got to be able to hit home runs in Cincinnati in that little bandbox they play in. So yeah, I mean, it's brutal. They've got to be better.
Can I
I don't
ask
know
you?
where they get that this year, but it just sucks because your big power hitting prospects, and I know you want to go another direction, so I'll just leave this here. But your
No,
big
no, no.
power hitting
Let's keep this
prospects
going.
haven't worked
Actually,
out. They haven't worked out. The thing is, every time the Cardinals, I mean, I don't like when people throw the blanket statement that like no Cardinals hitters work out. Obviously they do, because Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan, now Mason Wynn, Victor Scott, Ivan Herrera, these guys are really good players with the chance to get even better. You know, I really like this core. But every time the Cardinals have had a guy come up whose big tool has been his power tool, you have seen, whether you want to call it flops or whether you want to call it growing pains or whatever, we've seen at best flashes and at worst guys fizzle, you know? I mean, even like, I feel like Justin Williams was a guy whose power tool was talked about. Like, he didn't last more than 3 months. And he was a guy that people were kind of excited about at his debut. You're seeing issues with Nolan Gorman. We've seen big problems with Jordan Walker. Maybe they don't know how to handle these guys. Maybe they don't know what the hell they're doing in the minors or at the major league level to help them adjust. But you have not seen the Cardinals develop a real power hitter in a long, long time.
yeah, and I do think, like, again, this part of this is hard because we're so hyper focused on the Cardinals. I wonder how many other fan bases would say we don't produce power bats, because it's like
there are power bats in the league. How many guys last year hit 30 home runs?
It's a good question. I can check that. But again, I'm just so 20.
I mean, all of them had to get developed
29.
by somebody.
29. So that's
All
not even
29
one
of these
team.
guys got developed by somebody, you know?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Here, there's turnover. I mean, I'm just saying I can anecdotally name guys who have hit 35 home runs in the last 10 years for most teams.
Yeah, so that's where I'm saying, like, I'm just saying big picture. Like, I think other people would also complain about power bats, but I agree you're onto something where it's like the Cardinals still don't have one, and like they can. I mean, they're well past the beyond. They don't say this anymore, but they're well past the point of saying, well, Oscar Tavares was supposed to be that. It's like, well, okay, that was a decade ago. Like, you got to build a bounce back from that now. And like Gorm could have been that, but he's not. Walker could have been that, but he's probably not going to be that. But they also, like, I'm trying to think profiles wise, like, outside of those, like Justin Williams is like, okay, I don't think it would always be a 30 home run bat, right? So like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think
totally
outside of
but I'm trying to think
and
of
Walker. Like, I think part of it is they don't target those profiles. They really like the polished, and some of that maybe it's like, well, if you know you can't develop it, why keep drafting it if it's going to be bust? Like, go develop the guys you can get, and then you go out. So here's a conversation I want to have with you. Yeah, I'm not saying this isn't like, oh, you didn't read my stuff, but I'm curious if you've already seen this. Did you see something I posted today on Redbird about how the Cardinals should take a page of the Cubs book? So
no,
last year, and I don't often say the Cardinals should learn from the Chicago Cubs, but last year the Cubs offense was pretty middle of the pack. If you look home runs wise, I think they were 20th in all of baseball. They really didn't have power.
Yeah, really bad for a park like Wrigley to call home too. Like,
they finished with the same record as the Cardinals last year. They have a young ascending team. And what did they go out and do? They went and they traded for a middle of the order bat, an MVP caliber player with power. The Cardinals don't have that, and they don't have it coming. JJ Weatherholt is not going to be that. I love JJ Weatherholt. I'm excited for him. He's not a power bat. It's not going to happen. I think the Cardinals, their next, like, if this team continues on its trajectory and they are ready to start being like, oh, let's contend again, let's move the payroll back up, they've got to start looking, and they got to be opportunistic about trading for that bat, because they're not going to sign it. The guy with that kind of power is probably not coming to St. Louis. They're probably not handing out a $500 million deal to Kyle Tucker in free agency. But you know who's someone they could target in a trade? Or Rafi Devers. Or whatever the next disgruntled star is. Or a guy that's like 2 years away from free agency or a year away from free agency like Kyle Tucker. I think that, to me, is the thing they should start probing the market like they did with Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Marcelo Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton, guys like that, is they got to find their power bat. And if it's not coming from within, they got to trade for it, because they're not going to sign it. I'm going to say they're not going to sign it when there is a world where they did offer $200+ million to David Price and Jason Hayward in the days when $200 million would have been like a top 3 contract in all of baseball. So who knows? Maybe they are willing to, especially when you don't have Goldie's money on the books and Arenado's money is coming off the books here soon. Like, they don't have an extremely high paid player anymore. So maybe they would hand out a big contract out in free agency. I'm doubting it, but they have shown us they're willing to trade for that kind of stuff. And Chaim Bloom apparently was the one who orchestrated that Devers signing. Like, it wasn't like ownership driven. Like, he worked really hard to get Devers signed to a $300 million deal. I don't think he's opposed to deals like that when it's a core piece. I'd be interested to see if they could go trade for that bat, because if you could put a bat like that in the middle of this lineup, that's where you go from being a top 10, 11, 8, 9 offense to what the Cubs did this year, which is they jumped into the top 4 or 5 because they've got Kyle Tucker. They've got all these really good pieces around them
right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the
it stinks, but it's
the Kyle Tucker effect, because it's not all because of Kyle Tucker, but what it's done is everyone falls down a run in the order where it's like PCA this year. I mean, he broke out, so it's a big part of it, but he doesn't have to be their best bat. He can be their second, third, or fourth best bat. Like Carson Kelly's having a great year. He's going to fall back down to earth a little bit.
Johnson's having his best offensive year ever, and he's hitting in the 8 hole.
Yeah, and like Seiya Suzuki was their middle of the order bat last year. Now he's their number 2 guy. It's like all like, so if Brendan Donovan in this scenario, like I was mapping it out in my head, like if it was like a Devers, I'm not saying it should be, but like if it was a Devers type, I think Brendan Donovan probably hits 6th for you now. So you're talking about your 3-hole hitter is now your 6-hole hitter. And like you're getting that power in the middle of the lineup. Like I think it could really unlock this offense in a fresh way. But do you think it's too early?
Where would they play Devers?
Third base. I mean, it's that's why I'm saying like focus less on the Devers piece, because it was more of like, hey, here's like, I'm trying to help people visualize. My point is like, hey, if you can add a bat like that, it requires moving auto, it requires a lot of stuff like that. But X bat, I don't know who else you'd throw into there. And also supply matters, right? Like if there's no bat available this offseason, the Cardinals can't just magically make the Orioles trade Gunnar Henderson. Like you can't just go get him. It's like they also want to get rid of that guy.
Bobby Witt.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I love Bobby Witt. It's like, well, the Royals don't want to give you Bobby Witt. But do you like, if the Cardinals trend in the direction this year where they're a contender and it's like, hey, 2026 should be about a contention year, not like, hey, building toward contention 2027, 2028. Do you think they should be getting ready to push chips in to go trade for something like that? Or do you think that's a little too early in the process? Again, we're baking in, they got to continue this trajectory. If they fall off, then it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it really just does depend how the rest of the season goes. There's totally a chance that Jordan Walker comes back from this stint on the IL and becomes the player we've all been waiting for him to be, which is that 125, 130 WRC plus guy out in the outfield. And like, that would make me feel a lot better about making a trade like this. But you'd have to move a lot to go get a type of bat like that. And I don't know, I worry about the Cardinals getting thin all of a sudden if you did that. And as much as I like the crop of young hitters they've just developed, like they have the right amount of guys right now. And there's JJ in the pipeline still. And I guess Sajazi is waiting in the wings, but I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this with Kareem. I don't know if Sajazi is like a true regular. I like him and I like what he's done in a limited sample, but I don't know if you're just thinking about sliding that guy in right away. And JJ is definitely not ready yet. And after that, your crop of hitters is really thin, So it would be tough because you'd have to move probably 2 or 3 like big pieces to get a guy like that. And while that'd be really, really great, it'd just be tough. Maybe you could move some pitching, but
yeah, I mean, it's always hard to know with a deal like his, because he'll be 29 next year, but would have 6 years remaining or 7 years remaining on a $300 million deal. And guys like with those kind of contracts, it's hard because you're not paying for like Soto costs you a ton because you're also getting him cost controlled a little bit. You're not giving him the same extension yet. When you trade for a contract like that, like he wouldn't be as cheap as Nato, but I also don't know how much more it'd be than like what Kyle Tucker was. And Kyle Tucker cost the Cubs is Paredes gonna be a free agent this year or next year? It's like a major league bat, a top prospect, and an arm. And so it's like, so for the Cardinals, like what if it costs them like Lars Nootbaar and I don't know, like Quinn Matthews and I don't know, like random arm. Like I don't think it's worth getting to the exacts of it, but I do think it's something like cart before the horse. I realize that it's May. It was just more of like hey, this could be what they're trending toward. But
it'd be interesting. And I mean, I'd like to see the Cardinals make a move like that. I think the Marcell Ozuna move really sucked. It really burned the team in a lot of ways. And it seems like a lot of the pitching concerns go back to that, trading away 2 guys that were both Cy Young candidates soon after that, and one of them who won the whole thing. But in another world that works out really well, and Ozuna's still that guy. And you get the Ozuna that Atlanta's gotten, which is a guy that almost won the Triple Crown in the shortened season in 2020, and a guy that's been a top 10 hitter in baseball multiple times, 150 WRC plus hitter, anchoring one of the best lineups in the league. I mean, it's crazy to think that at times Atlanta has had Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson was still there, and the guy that they were relying on most, Michael Harris, right? Sean Murphy. The guy they were relying on most was Marcell Ozuna. He's been the best hitter in that lineup at times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they had gotten that guy and it had changed everything and we wouldn't be so hesitant to make another swing like that. But it was the right move because you had to get that guy and it just didn't work out. So, yeah, maybe I would like to see them do that again.
Going back, I mean, then I think the interleague conversation is interesting. Then maybe we wrap it up for today after it. But what if they don't let him walk in 2019 and he does what he's done in Atlanta for the Cardinals? Does that
been a bargain too? The deal Atlanta got him on was so team friendly.
Yeah. And again, I don't think I would say, let's say it's slightly muted, like 10% less, because Atlanta's more of a hitter's park than St. Louis. So let's say it's even 10% muted. So it's a 168 WRC plus, 130 WRC plus, 144, 140. It doesn't make it feel great that you gave up Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen anymore, but I don't think we talk about it like we do now. I mean, you talk about what you do now because they got 107 and 110 WRC plus bat, which it's like Marcell Ozuna wasn't a bad player for the Cardinals, but he wasn't what he should have been.
And it just sucked because Alcantara was already breaking out in Miami, and you already knew that guy could be the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, after the injury, Alcantara has been awful, and that's sad to see. I do like the guy. I'm very sad for him, but you already could see what you were missing. And it was like, oh my gosh. And it fit in the trend as well, where it's like you could put that with like 4 or 5 other moves from a short period of time and be like, the Cardinals suck at making trades.
Yeah. But it's like if you had that Marcell Ozuna bat in this lineup the past, since 2020, and you think about it, it's like Alcantara's been hurt or bad the last few years. Gallen's fallen off, and this year he's not good. And and people are like, people are like very scared about giving that guy a contract long term right now. I just think it's like a trade that goes from horrific to people might be like, did the Cardinals win the Marcell Ozuna trade if he was still in St. Louis producing like he is right now and has been? But again,
I think bridges were burned though. I don't think he wanted to stay in St. Louis. It just I don't think he liked playing here either.
True.
And the Cardinals would have been in a really tough spot with where to play him, although just DH. He would DH. He's a better hitter than we've had. He would DH.
You wouldn't have had Pujols, but I'm trying to think in 2022, did Marcell Ozuna only DH that year? Let's see. Could he have maybe? I feel like they probably would have fit him into the lineup, but they had to as a left fielder. Okay.
He played left.
Okay, so that actually could have worked. They could have DH'd him after.
He was awful that.
But I mean, if you're thinking about 2022 and how good was his wait, you meant awful offensively, right? That was one of his down years. Okay. Well, if he had been himself and you put him in that lineup,
over the last 3 years, Ozuna's got a 148 OPS plus, and he's aging like fine wine. It's just devastating that he was so mid in St. Louis. It's so obnoxious.
But I mean, part of that was something the Cardinals should have known is that he had shoulder issues when they traded for him. And so that's the stuff that I didn't know until when that trade happens. It's I'm like, this is great. Marcell Ozuna was awesome for the Marlins, incredible deal, and didn't work out. Now I do think I would love to come back to that conversation about if the Cardinals should be aggressive and trade for bats or at some point in the next few weeks. If they just got to work on developing that, because I mean, I do agree. They should be they need to start building, develop those kind of guys. And you make a good point. That's you go out and trade it. Are you mortgaging some of your future and potentially falling back off a cliff again because you killed some of your prospect depth and minor league depth to go make the big move because you couldn't do it on your own. You can't keep doing it over and over again. I think it's a really interesting conversation about if this Cardinals team continues this trajectory, do you have to remain patient with what you have or you push some chips in? But I would love for you to give your take about interleague play, because I do think there's probably more people who agree with you than you think.
Yeah, well, I mean, every time I've said this in person, people have disagreed with me. This is one of my typical hot takes, but I think interleague play is stupid. That's the blunt version of it. I think it's dumb. I don't care. I don't care. Playing the Rangers is fun because we played them in the World Series 15 years ago. and I lived in Texas for the last 4 years as a student, in college, and that was great. I love, making fun of Rangers fans. That's funny. Oh, David Freese. Oh, Nelson Cruz. Oh, why was he on the field? He wanted to be in the dog pile. Thanks, Ron. Like, that stuff's funny to me. But for the most part, it's dumb. I don't care about playing the Twins or the Angels or the Mariners or even the Astros. Who cares? I don't care about any of these teams. We play in the National League. We play in the National League Central. Those are the games I want to watch. I couldn't care less about playing the Tigers or the White Sox. Like, of the 15 teams in the AL, the only ones that I actually get remotely excited for in interleague play are like, it's cool to play the Yankees. Great. Because, they're the New York Yankees. It's cool to play the Red Sox, especially on the road. I like watching games at Fenway Park. I think it's a really neat stadium. I'm sure the players like to go there and see a really cool nugget of baseball history. And then the Royals, because of the I-70 rivalry. And, my parents are still upset about, Don Dankinger and the 85 World Series. So that's nice. And I guess they're kind of upset about the Twins in 87. But for the most part, it doesn't matter. It's stupid. There are 13 teams in the American League that I really don't care to play. And I don't know why we have to do it. I think it's dumb. And I think the new balanced schedule is the dumbest thing in the world. It not only, you play everybody every year, so it takes the shine away from interleague play. Also, like, now that the National League has a DH, there's no funny, like, oh, let's watch AL pitchers try to hit at Busch Stadium. That was hilarious. That's been taken away from me. And the big problem for me is that now we play our division so much less. Okay, baseball is a regional game. That's what it grew as. It grew out of a regional game where you just kind of played teams near you because that's where you could get. And I think that's something that was really beautiful about baseball for a long time, was that you played the majority of the season against teams in your own division. You played everybody, 19 times, right? So not a full majority, but pretty dang close to 80 games, 76 games against your division. I really enjoyed that. I thought they had really found the sweet spot. You played one division a year. So eventually you'd see the Yankees and it was cool, whatever. Eventually you'd see one of those other teams. It was cool enough. And you played your like little interleague rivalry that they'd established, which some of them matter. Like the Mets and Yankees like to play each other. The crosstown rivalry in Chicago and whatnot. And for us, the I-70 series is nice. But like, you did that every year at home and away, but you got to play the Cubs 3 times at home. Now you only get 2 series against the Cubs at home. That sucks. Those are the best nights of the summer. The very best nights of summer in St. Louis are when you get to go to Busch and watch the Cubs at home. Or if it's a year that the Brewers are the team that the Cardinals are bumping up against, it's like, dude, I want to play Milwaukee at home. I want to be at those games. I want to be at the games against Cincinnati. And back when Pittsburgh was good in the early 2010s, like those were the games to be at Busch for, when they had McCutchen and some of these other guys that were studs. Like, it was fun to be at those games. Now, I just feel like a lot of the time I see teams, it's like, who cares? We just played 6 games against the AL, 2 different divisions. There's no established rivalry with these clubs. It does not matter. I do not care about playing Baltimore. I could not care less. Also, I think I was listening to the radio call today because, it wasn't on FanDuel Midwest. And I think it was Horton that made a great point about like these interleague games, the quality of play is lower because you have no familiarity. You're playing guys that you've never seen before. You're playing in parks that you've never played in, right? So like, I know Alec Burleson had a weird play in the outfield. I think this series, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's like, he's never played at this stadium before. Like, it's weird. You don't know. And the Rangers play on turf too, which the Cardinals never see. So I don't know. It's just dumb. I think it's stupid. And I'd like to play my own division more. I'd like to play the Cubs more often. It's June and we haven't played them yet. And we're not going to play them until the end of the month. We are going to be halfway through the season almost before we get to see our rivals, which, by the way, is one of the 5 best rivalries in North American sports. But whatever. We'll never see them. It's stupid. I'm sick of it. The last thing, too, is in some years where you get a weird scheduling quirk, like with the London series, we got, 3 games against the Cubs at home that year? 4 games? Like, that's tragic. That's a robbery. We had 1 home series against the Cubs in 2023. That's stupid. So I think it's dumb. I hate interleague play.
So I'm trying this new feature. I'm throwing the comments on the stage so you can see them, because
cool.
I'm reading through and you've got a lot of support, man. There's a lot of people who are like, that's why I was like, when you brought it up, I was like, I actually don't think it's all that hard of a take. I would say, I think we were talking about this pre-show a little bit. I think I'd be down. So there's 2 sides of it. One, it's taken away a little bit of the like the fun of when you play the Yankees, where it's like, oh, we don't play them that often. It's like, we're playing the Yankees this year. Like, that's cool. but I also like get the point where it's like if you're a Twins fan, you would like to see the Dodgers every once in a while. Like I probably would want to see if the Dodgers in the American League, I'd be kind of sad and don't really see the Dodgers ever. So what
Yeah,
I
but they
think
get
I'd do,
the Yankees. Like that's what they get. We get the Dodgers, they get the Yankees, they get the Red Sox, we get the Giants. You know,
yeah,
historic teams anyway. And
yeah,
sorry,
I guess.
fan team.
But I mean, like you look at like these two leagues right now, the American League is so bad. And it's like I would want to see some National League teams. So here's what I would again, I'm not saying I'm right, but I think what I would do is I like the idea, my idea I'd propose is you play 2 of the American League divisions each year. So it's more than you did before, but you don't play everyone. So the NL, like, well, actually, would it work to do that? I think it's possible to do that for every division. Play only 2 of the others. You don't play one. And if you did that, or you even it out where you just play the equivalent of that, then you repurpose those games to play against your division again. So you play your division 1, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 more times than you do right now. Or I wouldn't even mind if they heavy put it, and this is where it gets anecdotal and hard to do, but like I'm okay. Like at this point, since we don't see enough Cubs Cardinals, I would be totally okay if they went in and were like, that they did something like that and purposely gave a little bit more games to that rivalry and more games to Boston, New York, and more games to LA, San Francisco, and these iconic rivalries. And there's going to be some teams that play a random team because they don't have an iconic rivalry like that. But you're right. Like it's so weird that the Cardinals and Cubs are not playing until June. And last year's was really weird. Like I think they played late, and they also didn't. They didn't play until later in the season, and they didn't play at the end of the season either. Like this year, they closed the season against each other,
every year,
which is awesome. Yeah, and so I actually agree with you in terms of like the fact that it's like one of the games I get like as a like someone who watches this team, I don't think I get up and get excited for anything more than I do Cubs Cardinals. And it doesn't like they could play 15 times a year and I'd feel that way every time. And so 18 times a year would feel that way. So it's weird that they play like 9 times, 12 times.
I mean, I just think like for the people, like I see Bryce's comment here. Yeah, it's fun to see the Yankees and the Red Sox, but at the same time, you still saw them every 3 years. And if you want to watch the Yankees and the Red Sox, you can go on Twitter and watch clips of them play. Like I think that I get more excited for Cardinals Brewers than I do for Cardinals Dodgers. I don't care. The Dodgers are not in our division. The Brewers are in our division. There's a rivalry there. I hate the Brewers. I hate Milwaukee.
I just heard Mo invited you from Blogger Day because of it. So
fine. Yeah. I can't even go, which is devastating.
Well, you can't?
But no, I can't. My cousin's getting married.
Whatever. Tell your cousin you got box seats to a Dodgers Cardinals game.
I know.
I could not believe they gave us that this year. When I told that, I did a double take. It was like, this is fake.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Like
wasn't
they
it the
always
Rockies
give
last year?
They like I think I've seen
fun,
the Rockies twice and the Pirates or something. Or no, it was Rockies, Pirates, and Reds. And now we've got the freaky Dodgers in a box seat.
So
Like
elite.
Okay. Mo just like letting it fly on the way out.
I know. But I mean, my thing is I get amped up to play teams in our division that I hate. Teams like there's bad blood that goes back decades against the Cubs, against the Reds. I mean, how many like iconic Reds Cardinals moments have there been? Even the Pirates, where we had some heated division races in the early 2010s. Like growing up watching, because I was 9 when the Cardinals won the World Series in 2011. So I was just coming of age as a baseball fan when it was like the Pirates and the Cardinals in the early 2010s. And like those were some really fun series. And I remember them well. And I remember hating the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like that was just what we did. And you know, yeah, you like may compete against the Dodgers in the wild card every once in a while, but you actually don't because they win the division every year. So their games don't really matter to us for the most part unless they're playing us. And it's just I don't know. I just think I'm not a fan. I don't even like playing outside my own division as much as I like playing within the division. I just want to see interdivision rivalries, and I wish that they would prioritize them. And it's a problem in other sports too. I mean, for college football fans, you guys know how conference realignment has destroyed interstate and interconference rivalries. And to see that come over to, you know, Major League Baseball, where a rivalry like Cardinals Cubs that's been around for 100+ years isn't being prioritized, makes me so mad.
I will say, as someone who doesn't watch much college football, I get.
Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, Josh is out. We can't hear him. We've lost Josh for the moment. Wait, here he comes. But I mean, there are great rivalries in baseball, and that's what makes going to the ballpark the most fun. You know, I mean, I can't speak for everyone watching this, but when you get to when you get to go and see the Cardinals and Cubs play, it's a special time. And especially because, there are a lot of Cubs fans in the St. Louis area, and there are a lot of Cardinals fans in the Chicago area. So it always just seems like the stadium feels different. It's so tense. It's so much fun. Are you back, Josh? Do we have you?
I'm back. I was going to
Yeah.
say, as someone who doesn't care about college football, I get amped up now the weekends where I'm like, Oregon and Alabama play, like, or Oregon, Ohio State.
I mean,
this is awesome.
those things already happened.
But I feel like it happens every weekend now where there's a big game. Where it was like,
not once conference play starts, though. You still get your three games of non-conference, but those are just games within your conference that already happened.
But I'm saying within the conference now, you have Ohio State and Oregon in the same conference.
So
you have Texas and Alabama in the same conference. You're getting those games. I know I'm saying as someone who doesn't watch it, so I shouldn't have much skin in the game, but I'm more likely to watch it now because those games are on. But
yeah, I mean, I guess for MLB, like for more casual baseball fans, MLB gets to tease Dodgers Yankees every year, like, ooh, the Dodgers and Red Sox are going to play every single year. We can put that on national television. But like in the same way that like college football lost Washington State, the Apple Cup, or, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Bedlam, or the backyard brawl with West Virginia and Pitt, like these were iconic rivalries, and the actual fans of the rivalries themselves, there's bad blood there. You hate the other team, you hate the other team's fans. Like those aren't being prioritized. And that's the same way I feel as a Cardinals fan that wants to watch Cardinals Cubs games. And I'm sure, like, I don't know, the Reds and Pirates seem to have something going on for the last 10 years. Like those games seem to get pretty tense. There've been some good fights erupt. Like I'm sure
the battle for 4th and 5th place. Woo!
That's right. But I'm sure other teams feel the same way, where it's like, that's my rival. I want to, my friend's a Detroit Tigers fan, and he always talks about how much he hates Cleveland. He's like, I wish we played him more often.
Yeah. Which,
even
I mean,
again, I want to play him more often.
But it's like great points. Like you just think about like the Houston and the Cubs in the early 2000s, or like the 2010s, like these Brewers series that just always meant something. The Red series meant something. Cubs series meant, like, you're right. There's something different about playing your division a lot more. I think there's a way they can balance it where they can play out of the division more often, or out of the conference more than the league, whatever you want to call it, more than they did before, but still play your division more often. I think they got to find a way to strike that balance. But
yeah.
Anyways. Well, this has been a fun episode. Good vibes check. I think we're pretty optimistic about the Cardinals still, but realizing I don't think any of us really thought they were like a 93-win team or whatever. So like,
I think they can win 90, but it's going to be tough. They'll be in like the 87 to 90 range, with 90 being, really good outcome.
Yeah, a lot would have to break right. That's for sure. But again, that's why we're here all season. We're going to be following along with you guys. We appreciate the support as always. Like and subscribe helps channel out a ton. We'll be back on Wednesday, but until then, see you guys next time.
Thanks, Rob Manfred.